thing I would like to say is just a comment on Kathleen Britt, okay, on her passing. She served on this board for 12 years, about 12 years, under 2 mayors and 3 chancellors, okay? And was here at every meeting, and she'll be missed. So, having said that, we're going to go start the agenda, okay? Calendar item number 1, excuse me, my voice was in and out. Calendar item number 1 is the election of chairperson and vice chair. The first meeting of the year, usually at the first meeting of the year, we have a vote for a chair and a vice chair, okay? In the past, there's been other arrangements, co-chairs, whatever. At this point, Jennifer has the designation of the chancellor's seat, okay? And she has expressed an interest just for tonight only. If we just continue that and then have to hold this over for the next meeting.
Point of information, what does that designation letter actually say?
It is to the Special Assistant to the Deputy Chancellor of Operations from Carmen Perennial Chancellor. It's the delegation for the purpose of representation as a member and trustee of the Board of Education Retirement System. It says pursuant to education law, section 25751A and section 2590-H, section 19. And section 5A of the BERS rules and regulations, I hereby designate you to act on my behalf as a member and trustee of the Board of Education Retirement System, and it's assigned today.
It does not say whether it's temporary or permanent.
It is, as far as I'm concerned, it's permanent disposition to you under the designation. Am I correct?
Then I'd like to know what the bylaws say in regards to that.
We discussed this when Kathleen got the designation for the Chancellor. This section of education law allows the Chancellor to designate certain tasks the Chancellor has to a designee who works for the Chancellor, and Jennifer does work for the Chancellor, so she gives it right.
But my understanding is always been that deputy chancellor. All due respect to Jennifer, she is a new employee to the DOE. So my understanding is it's always been a deputy chancellor. So if there's a deputy chancellor, then this individual then take over.
I think that would be the question of the Chancellor. But the Chancellor can designate anybody that they want, that she wants.
So, for the purposes of just continuity, Carmen asked, as I was the alternate for Kathleen and attended all of the meetings as well as the investment committee meetings, that we continue with myself as the designee until a new deputy chancellor is named. So at that time, and we anticipate that will happen in April of this year, that deputy chancellor will take over as the board trustee.
Okay. All right, so I'd like to put a motion on the board for, to have temporary co-chairs for this meeting and to table the election until the next meeting. Second? Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, carried unanimously. Thank you. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'd like to nominate Jennifer Maldonado as co-chair.
I'll nominate you as co-chair. It's a mutual co-chair. Yes.
Okay. Second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Carried unanimously. Thank you.
I just want to make one note. If you give me just 1 second. I just want to add on to what Joe said. Kathleen was a member of this board, and she took her responsibility very, very seriously. And she was dedicated to making sure that all the members were represented well. And she had an enormous amount of respect for every person that sat in their chairs. And I just wanted to say that because it's something that when she became ill, she made a note to all of us that our responsibilities continued in her legacy and with a good model that she left for all of us. But she also wanted each of you to know that she took this responsibility very highly and respected everything here.
Okay, thanks. Okay, before we get into the calendar items, on your agenda, there are two items that we would like to add, calendar items 32 and 33. Okay? I'd like to have a motion to add those to the calendar. So, second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now we can get going. Calendar item number 2 is noting of the minutes for the meeting of the Board of Education, the retirement system that was held December 18th at Long Island City High School. This is for consideration and action. May I have a motion to put it on the table? Second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you, carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Calendar items 3 through 21. Ms. Bailey, is this routine business of the Board of Ed retirement system?
Yes, calendar items 3 through 21 are the routine business of the Board of Education retirement system.
Okay, may I have a motion? A second, please?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, everybody. Calendar item number 22, request to the Board of Trustees to adopt the actuary's recommendation for an updated preliminary fiscal year 2015 employer contribution. May I have a motion to put it on the table?
So moved.
Second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, normally, we have a member from the actuary's office here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Every year, the actuary submits a recommendation, and at the end, he makes an updated one for any changes that may be.
Yes, sir. The actuary issued a preliminary fiscal year 15 employer contribution in December of 2013. The board approved it in July of 2014. This is an updated employer contribution reflecting the retroactive increases in salaries based on the contracts that have been settled since the board approved the preliminary appropriation. It increases the employer contribution from just over $234 million to just over $258 million. So that's the resolution that we're asking the board to vote on this evening.
Any questions on it? Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Carried unanimously. Thanks again. Calendar item 23 is another item from the actuary. It's to utilize the pension census data to compute other than post-employment benefits obligations for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2015. May I have a motion to put it on the table? Second, please.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Any questions? Okay. You do?
What is the benefit that the actuary is going to gain from actually switching using the data?
Okay, this is the 10th annual actuarial evaluation of other post-employment benefits that the Office of the Actuary will be asked to do by the Office of the Comptroller. The results of this evaluation, other post-employment benefits are the retiree medical benefits, and the liabilities for those benefits are reported in the city CAFR. They're also reported in the CAFRs of other employers, specifically for BERS, the School Construction Authority. The data necessary to do that evaluation comes from two sources. One source is the Office of Labor Relations, and that's for current retirees who are actually receiving the retiree medical benefits. The other are for those people, primarily your active members, but also those who are terminated and entitled to a pension in the future, who will ultimately receive retiree medical benefits. Rather than request the information a second time from the system, we just ask for permission to use the pension data that we have in-house to do the pension evaluation. Again, we've asked for 9 years in the past, and it's been approved 9 years in the past. each of the 5 systems are asked to make, we ask each of the 5 systems for the same permission to use their pension data. Did that answer your question?
Oh, yes.
Any other questions?
Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Okay, where are we? Okay, calendar items 24 through 26. They were sent out electronically earlier due to time restraints. Okay, the board had a chance to look at it and voted on it. It's here for ratification. Okay, so I'd like to, if the board's permission, I'd like to call them together to just save some time. May I have a motion to put these items on the table?
So,
Second, please.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion, any questions on any of these items? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, carried unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Calendar item number 27, resolution extending the appointment of interim acting chief actuary for the Board of Ed retirement system. As everybody knows, Bob North is retired as of October. He agreed to stay on until his successor is named. His term was supposed to be up in December, but the his term was supposed to be up in December, but the city and the system hasn't come up with a replacement yet, so we'd like to extend this to the end of February. Okay. All right.
Negotiating and the further extension of this
Yeah.
time. So-
Oh,
So we can only authorize it to the 20th, because that's the current.
There is a meeting this week. Hopefully we get a final out of that one. Okay. May I have a motion to put it on the table? A second? Okay. Any discussion, any questions on that issue? Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Okay. All right. Calendar item 28 is the authorization to amend the investment policy statement of the Board of Ed retirement system. May I have a motion to put it on the table? A second? Okay, any discussions? Any questions? David, from the controls office is here. David, could you just give us a brief outline summary on what this is and why it's being changed?
So basically, you have investment policies. Each time we do an asset allocation, we have a series of individual policy statements that we put together into one document. So the statement that you're looking at here is really the combining of all those policies and the incorporation of the last 2 decisions that were made in November 2013. It is not a change document from anything that was put in before, other than combining of those policies. So we're just asking for a formal ratification.
And David, the policy basically gives the parameters for the investment.
Yes,
for
it
investment.
controls what the managers can do, what the controls officers can
Are there any other questions? Any discussion on it? Okay. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, carried unanimously. Thank you once again. Okay. Oh, item 29, request for the Board of Trustees to adopt salary increases for the employees covered by the pay plan for managerial employees. Can I have a motion? May I have a motion to put this on the table, please? A second?
Second.
Okay. Are there any discussions or questions on this?
Just for point of clarification, this is in line with DOE and the mayor's policy for managerial pay increases starting from September 2012, 2013, 14, and then going forward. So there's a retro that's will be allocated to employees as well. This will go into effect, or it's in effect now, but it won't be dispersed until April of 2015.
Was it like 2011 or 2013?
2011 is right.
2011, sorry, 2011. Forget how back it goes, so.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Carried unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Calendar item number 30, I understand that this is going to be withdrawn?
Yes, we're requesting that this be withdrawn. It has to come before the board, but it's here prematurely, so we'll bring it back in.
All right. Calendar item number 31, adoption of certain policies to ensure compliance with the Internal Revenue Code consistent with the voluntary compliance statement. May I have a motion to put this on the table? Second, please. Okay, any discussions or questions? Any?
No one wants to hear about IRS.
Nobody wants to hear about that? Okay. All right.
This is basically, we've been working with the law department to request clarification from the IRS to determine if we are in fact a qualified pension plan. They have responded and said that yes, we are, with the approval, with the understanding that we implement certain policies, and these are the policies. There's some other parts to it that we're working on with the law department, but these policies have to be implemented to confirm that we are indeed qualified.
Qualified for?
They're, please.
Well, the retirement system has to comply with the Internal Revenue Code. Most for the most part do. What they have a plan document. And the plan document basically is like a Bible for the retirement system. You know, it codifies what all the policies are. And, but a lot of the systems nationally have been out of compliance. And I was in a meeting several years ago with the Internal Revenue. They said, well, you know, we are going to look at, you know, the plans nationwide, and we're giving those plans that are out of compliance an opportunity. But should we review, you know, their penalties that may incur? So what we did was we submitted, you know, a voluntary compliance letter to the Internal Revenue to see if we were in compliance, and we did come back in the affirmative. And so, you know, going forward, we do have a bona fide plan document, which we need to have in place. So if that explains.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, having none, all those in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? Carried unanimously. Thank you once again. Okay, the next two calendar items were the added items.
I have a motion on this. I move that the retirement board, in accordance with section 105, subsections 1D, F, and H of the New York State Public Officers Law, go into executive session for the purpose of the consideration and transaction of business regarding current litigation, a particular person, and acquisition of real property.
Okay,
Second.
I just seconded. Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. I'd like to ask all those individuals not in the, except the controller of law department, exit for the record. During the executive session, the board discussed and approved calendar items 32 and 33, and the board also discussed a particular individual and will take no further action at this time. Okay? And at this time, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any opposed? Any? Got your pen? Any? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience and for coming out.